So, for anyone who's tuning in, right? Let me just check. Let me check the archives. I need to make sure that I got this exactly as I think it should be. Just going to the YouTube channel. So this technically is the 12th episode of the Spiral Arrow podcast. And on the 11th episode, we were talking about how Zega broke ComExposed. So for anyone who wants to be caught up on that particular episode, feel free to check the channel, 4 Years Wasted on YouTube. And we were talking about how this organization, aka Zega, just came out of the blue, and apparently they had all this supposed authority to run, regulate, flipping order, cease and desist if necessary on tournaments that were not recognized by the government or recognized by Zega themselves. I'm going to kind of join the government and Zega into one because their authority is coming from the government, so one and the same to me. And all of a sudden, these people that no one asked for, none of the players, none of the esports scenes in Zimbabwe asked for these people to exist. And all of a sudden, they have the authority to say, do, and literally force you into any particular way of operating just because they exist, which I found to be extremely suspicious from the very beginning. There was quite a lot of discussions. Lots of people from the Harare FGC were talking about how this is a good opportunity. Zega's gonna come in, they're gonna do some amazing things to help the players, start, creating official tournaments and, all these opportunities. One of the people in the Mortal Kombat 1 WhatsApp group, for example, was talking about how, Zega took some players to Romania to play FIFA, I believe, and
eFootball.
And as far as I know, I asked them to produce footage of these supposed players playing in supposed tournament, and I never got any footage. So as far as I know, that's just a lie. The only other thing I could think of when I was sitting, for example, with Fiery D2 was that these were players who were already in Romania for whatever reason. Maybe they are international students, maybe they are just living in Romania as Zimbabweans who by some chance entered some e-football tournament, and just because they are Zimbabweans, Zega is taking accountability like, we sent Zimbabweans to Romania, but those were people just playing for fun, doing their own thing. You know what I mean? So far, that people were singing praises about Zega's involvement, and from the very beginning, I pretty much said that this is just shit. I've lived in Zimbabwe long enough to know what these organizations are up to, and when money is involved, they're willing to do anything to seize control. So from the very beginning, I thought this was just one elaborate big scam. And from today's discussion, you might see where my sentiments came from, and my point of view towards Zega hasn't actually changed. I don't think they're a good organization. I'm sorry to say. I've got Fiery D2 here, I've got KRW King. They can lay down some framework as to what has been happening since the last episode that we recorded in the beginning of November. It's the end of November. Let's hear what's happened. So I don't know whether it's D2 or it's King. Who wants to set this off? What happened ever since then? What were people promised? And how did they fail to achieve those promises, for example?
Oh, let me start here. I'm not sure that I remember mentioning that I was supposed to go to South Korea, to take part in the IESF camp, right, for Tekken 7, and it just so happened that what I thought was a free, fully expenses paid trip was actually not a fully paid trip. We had to look for money to buy the ticket so as to travel to Korea, because I remember reading the letter of guarantee that they are willing, like, if I do not have money to afford a return ticket, they can, what you call it, pay for my return ticket, yeah. So it just so happened that when I got word of this, I won't lie to you, bruh, my entire world just crumbled in my face, because I mean, I'm someone who had plans, and I had to put most of those plans on hold, because this, like, I thought this Korean opportunity was, the chance to, at least put Zimbabwe out there. I started practicing Tekken 7 again, Charles. Like, if I was to, like, think of the time when I was, like, seriously playing Tekken 7, and it has been a while. I actually started opening Tekken 7 and playing the game and learning how to properly Korean backdash on player 1 and player 2, because I'd want to get to Korea and look like a fool while I play against Koreans, bruh. But all that hard work and effort and the extra 100 hours I actually added to my playtime on Tekken 7 have gone to waste. Because at some point in time, like, I started wondering, like, why the hell did I even, try and, like, trust these people? I could have been pessimistic, but now you know me, Charles. I'm just too optimistic, especially against Cartesing ICs.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic at the wrong time.
Yeah. True story on that one. It's like, of course, I wasn't in direct communication with the people from Zega. There were people who had communicated with them, people like Sasori, who decided to not give any valid information about what was going on. There was another guy, let me quickly check the WhatsApps, but I don't know if you guys remember that there was another guy who was talking very positive things about Zega, but I never actually got to save his number. I don't remember if it was a guy called Takutswa or
That's his name.
Yeah. It was Takutswa. Yeah, I'm actually looking at his WhatsApp now. Takutswa, yes. And he was also talking about Zega. D2, do you still have the screenshot that you sent me about what Zega told you they are? I'm looking at our chat now. Yeah, okay. So I don't know. With D2's permission, I'll read this WhatsApp screenshot. Is it okay?
Sure.
Okay. So, hello, I got your details from a fellow gamer. I wanted to know what Zega is about and what does the subscription offer. So, I'm assuming that this was either you, D2, or someone else contacting Zega asking, like, what's Zega all about and what does the subscription entail? What does it mean? The response was that, hi, Zega is a Zimbabwean Electronic Games Association registered with Sports and Recreation Commission of Zimbabwe under the Ministry of Sports Act. So, like I said, one and the same with the government and culture to govern and regulate esports activities within Zimbabwe. So, they are regulating esports activities, and as far as I know, there was never any election to give them the authority to do so. They just existed doing so. So, not the point. Anyway, the subscription offers you free entry to our future competition plus other international activities that Zega participates in. So, for example, the trip to Korea is an international activity. Then I guess the question from D2 or whoever this person was is, how much is the subscription fee? Are there any upcoming events or tournaments? The subscription fee is $35 a year. We are planning a big tournament in December. So, December soon. They did not specify a year. So hopefully they mean this December. But yeah, so it's like free entry to future like competitions plus other international activities. My question then to you is this: when they spoke about Korea, I assume they were calling on players, saying like, we're looking for the best players, or they already had a list of people that they wanted, considering, for example, you and Sonic went to Kumite and all these different things. I'm assuming they looked for players and promised to take them to Korea. Okay, so they promised to take people to Korea. So this is like the free international activity that we just read about. But then when you guys were then making the preparations to go to Korea, that's when they stepped in and say, but you have to find your way back and you have to pay for yourself when you're there.
Yeah, the last part, it came like in the last minute because they assumed that the International Esports Federation is the one that's gonna sponsor the trip to and from. You get?
Okay, so wait, hold on. They organized you guys and told you about the Korea opportunity, not knowing if the funds are secure or not.
Yeah.
And this is normal?
Hey, my guy.
No, I mean, okay, fine, right? I'm taking my biases out of this, and this question is especially like directed to the people in Zimbabwe right now listening to this. Here I am some organization, and I tell you that I want to take you across the world. I am promising that this is going to be an esports event. And we all know that going across the world requires money. Planes don't fly for free. I decide to start organizing people, getting people to apply for visas, not even knowing if the money to transport the players is there or not. So if the money is not there, how then do the players go?
Yeah, how do they go?
And all the time and money that's been wasted applying for visas, is it reimbursed by this organization? Do you get your money back? Because visas are not free either.
Unfortunately, all I can say is visa money is not reimbursed because the justification would be I did not give Zega the money so that they can apply for my visa. I apply visa yet. If anything, I should go to the embassy and ask for a refund, but not a refund from Zega. So you see what's happening.
That's not gonna happen.
That's, yeah. I don't know.
Not it was there, but it was eaten. Who knows?
Actually, no, that's a very good point you just brought up now. This is all speculation for anyone who's listening to this. What if, right, hypothetical, I am an organization. I promise people I'll take you to Korea. I get people to register and write down and fulfill all the criteria necessary for my organization to go to this board to get the grant for the money to transport the players and pay for their accommodation. I then get this money and go to the players and say, oh, sorry, I never got the money. Can you pay for yourselves to go there and come back? Because the event is still waiting for the players. You know what I mean? Like, if we could teleport you to Korea, you can still play. But I just can't get you there. So if you can get yourselves there, we promise you that you will play. And then if you can get yourselves back, even better. And then I just take the transport money and eat it.
No.
I mean, how would anyone know? Unless if the players go to Korea and announce publicly to the board that provided the money that, hey guys, we came here on our own money. You know what I mean? Then the board would have to investigate, like, but we gave you transport money, why would you come on your own money? You know what I mean? So it's a big risk. It can be done, but it would be a stupid way to steal money. But this is Zimbabwe. People have stolen money with more stupider ways.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. There was supposedly a summit that was held 2 weeks ago after we streamed the last episode. Do any of you know any results from that summit? Because
Summit?
there was supposed to be some Zega summit, like talking about what Zega represents. Yeah, I remember Sage spoke about it at some point when we were telling him to come for the podcast, but Sage is unreliable. So I'm not sure what the result was. I ended up just, here's the message. I don't know if you guys want to talk about anything in particular you heard, but I've got... Okay, so according to Sage M1, right, you can find him on Twitter. If he's lying, blame him, don't blame me. This is Sage M1's message, right? This is like a summary of the Zega Summit. So apparently they're supposed to be Africa champions. I guess that's the name of the tournament. Africa champions next year in Saudi Arabia Esports Champions League, right?
World Cup in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. So apparently this person who owns Zega was a director at a young age, 15 to 20 years experience. Okay. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, because this person has nothing to do with esports. They've been directing like regular recreational sports like soccer and all that stuff. So his 15 to 20 years of regulating football, I have no idea what that has to do with anything, but whatever. The reason for Zega is apparently, I guess, the generation of paperwork that the government is aware of the existence of like Zega and esports. And apparently this organization started up in 2019, trying to legitimize itself ever since 2019. So I guess they've been failing since then. IESF registered to recognize esports competitions. What do they hope to achieve? To produce superstar gamers. Talk to top esports Zimbabwe organizers on esports plan. Apparently they did that. Who these top sports Zimbabwe organizers are, I have no idea. I suspect they were talking to, like I said, recreational sports, not esports.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because who are the esports? Who are these top esports organizers in Zimbabwe? I do not know one. Create an ecosystem instead of just playing for money rewards. Who knows how this ecosystem will look like? Apparently sponsored league, fair coverage, blah blah blah. Zega wants to create like centers, gaming center hubs in different cities. I don't know how far they've gone with that. Create a monthly magazine for gamers or a TV show to push gaming in the mainstream media. I could see that easily being done on like YouTube or some website on the internet. Fall under government. Why you want to fall under the government, I have no idea.
It's good for such entities to be independent by any means possible. Because once you are under, like, how can I put it? A branch that has too much power, And if it so happens that the whole esports thing starts booming, there is a possibility that some form of control would want to be seized by the government.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a perfect example as to why it's not a good idea. Compare Zol to Tel One. That's the ISP held by the government is not so great, but the private one is actually okay. So it's never a good thing, but apparently fall under the government and their code of conduct, a sports integrity bill that conducts players on how to do sports. So not only will they have power on your tournaments, they'll have power over you, the player. You have to play in certain ways. So I don't know how that's a good thing, but okay. If you want a tournament, you have to write at least a month before the event, because apparently they want to protect the image of gaming in Zimbabwe. What this protection is just seems like control to me. The way I see it is that if your tournament has imagery or themes that they deem not suitable, then they'll just cancel you. It's cancel culture, but the government version. You know what I mean? Let me give you an example. Once upon a time in Zimbabwe, being gay was completely illegal, completely punishable severely. I don't know what the situation is now, but let's pretend this was that Zimbabwe a few years ago. It's not even a long time ago. Literally before 2018, it was severely punishable to be gay. So imagine then hosting a gay-only MK1 tournament, you know what I mean, to promote all the gay MK1 players in Zimbabwe, to bring awareness to sexuality, you know what I mean. So it's like that would go against the conduct or the imagery of the country at that time. Therefore, that tournament would not be allowed. So transpose that to modern times. There are certain agendas and themes that the government does not like. Therefore, if your tournament is going in the light of those things that the government doesn't like, they'll just cancel it ahead of time. They don't want to be surprised. So write in advance and we'll tell you no, kindly. It's control, protect the image of the game. It's more like protect their image. They can.
I'm still.
Mm-hmm.
No, continue.
I was about to say, apparently you can have private tournaments, but for free. When money is involved, Zega is involved. So if I invite guys to my house and say Street Fighter 6 tournament, winner gets X amount of money, I have to tell Zega about this. If I hand over money without telling Zega and they find out, apparently problems come my way. I guess that would also mean that if two players want to bet money against each other, it's a money match, first to 10, me versus you, it means we have to tell Zega. And by doing that, Zega takes a portion of that money, even though they have nothing to do with me and you. It's not stated. I guess they'll decide depending on the amount of money on the line. You know what I mean? If it's $1, they might not care as much as if it's $100 or $1,000. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Too many. So now 2 points that, or maybe 3 points actually, that Sage wrote down was, before Zega, before now, when they're trying to seize control, was the government ever interested in esports? No, because we tried to build the cold room for 6 whole years. We tried to approach different organizations, private and government owned. No one cared to help. No one. And many other arcades have the exact same experience, especially with the government. They never ever got help. Actually, we were trying, like they were actively trying to shut us down. The police were trying to shut us down. What are you people doing? Do you have the rights to this media? Do you have the rights to the discs and all this stuff? The police were actually fining us in the beginning. If you remember, in 2016 and 2017, the last emperor got arrested way more times than I can remember for the things we used to do trying to host these tournaments. So I don't know how that is support from the government being arrested for hosting a tournament. That's not the point. Anyway, Zega, another point by Sage M1 is that Zega is here to protect us. They claim that yes, they're here to protect us, but they're regulated by the same government that was arresting us for the tournaments. I don't know how that works. And then Zega helps in visa applications, documents, and registrations. We just talked about that with you. And
visa applications, which you pay for yourself.
You pay for them yourself. They help you to take the money out of your pocket and give it to the embassy. You know, sometimes the money is heavy, so they will assist you in taking the money out of your pocket and putting it there. Yeah, so some final points were that Zega is going to have a gamers committee. ISF gaming coach certificates include game development, scholarship for gamers, 2028 esports agenda being pushed by international bodies. I don't know how far true any of this is. I'm just reading this message. Create marketing events Like, for example, stuff to promote awareness for breast cancer, by these gamers. Apparently some games will not be there, so it's best to adapt to what Zega wants in terms of creating like their branding and licensing. To help, they want to help create a club system with league points on the coming years. Also, the Zega team is not made up of gamers. Okay, that's a negative point against them. So it's like, if they're not made up of gamers, what would they know about gaming if they don't even play the games themselves? They even stated it at the summit that they are not gamers, but they're gonna regulate everything to do with games. But they are open to having gamers join as part of their committee. Apparently in this message it was written that someone has to ask them about this ecosystem and why tournaments need to be signed up to them. Someone needs to ask their plan for the future, whether the government is really interested in gaming. Was the government interested in gaming before, and how Zega plans to market gaming from being treated as child's play to a serious thing like esports. And if a committee exists, who exactly is in it? Because I did not vote for anyone, but apparently they have the power. Whether entering international tournaments while representing yourself is regulated or not by them. That's actually quite interesting.
It is.
If I go to Korea by myself, I'm already in Europe, right? So do I pay Zega? Because I'm Zimbabwean. I don't know, it's actually quite. I love
Pay them for pay. Buy your own ticket.
I bought my own ticket, registered myself, went to Korea, came back by myself, but I still have to pay them for that because I'm Zimbabwean and it's esports. I love the first response to this was, it's all bullshit. I have to agree. I'll tag this message one last time for anyone to read it. So yeah, to me, I don't know, man. It smelled bad from the very beginning. The Korea thing just makes it even worse for me. I don't know how anyone can defend Zega at this point. So if anyone who's listening to this has any positives to say, because bear in mind, I'm not in the current loop as to what's happening in Zega offices. If you have any information, please tell me. Because if it's gonna be good, at least let me know. As far as I can see, it is bad. It is business as usual in Zimbabwe. So I don't know if you guys have anything to say or add on to this one.
Well, what I can say is, right now Zega is trying to push for a club system, more like a faction system in each and every major city in Zimbabwe. Like Harare should have its own set of clubs. Makado, Makwekwe, Kweru, Harare, Bulawayo, Mutare, and all the likes. So I think they want to, once these clubs are created, these clubs are supposed to play against each other and determine who are the best players in that particular side of town or side of the country, and then probably at the major, December tournament, those will be the individuals that will be allowed to participate in the tournament. But I'm not sure. But all I know is people in Bulawayo, when it also comes to this whole club scenario, they wouldn't, want to jump into the club scene right there and there, because first things first, niggas are out here to make money, right? So if it means that having these clubs might even result in their businesses being slowed down, I don't think they might consider having a club system. But it's one of those, I'll go asking around various arcades if they're willing to be part of a Zega Bulawayo club. But I'm not sure if it will come into fruition. But one more thing, I'm just disappointed that I never got the chance to go to Korea, because it just so happens that there's actually a playable build of Tekken 8 in Busan, South Korea. So one can imagine that if I had managed to go, I would have gotten the chance to play an offline version of Tekken 8. But hey, these things happen, man. So I'm done playing Tekken 8. I'm done playing Tekken 7. I'm gonna wait for Tekken 8, and I hope something new and interesting comes up. I thank you.
Now
You
we
know
hear
what's-
you, man. Go ahead, Dito.
I was saying, talking about that club system, most people in this gaming shows, do they even know who Zega is?
I don't.
So how do you expect to make a successful club system? The only best way, like I said, if you wanted to market your organization, is maybe hold a tournament, maybe Harare, big item, Harare, Bulawayo. Then you maybe put a nice banner or whatever place that you rented, and then you do advertisements of what the organization holds on. But this thing of doing factions, no one's gonna know. If you throw in upcoming tournament, MK will take it. People like, tournament, and they say gaming, and everyone's calling them just go. But if it's us about forming club systems, most people, like King said, they want to run their businesses for money. So what's going to entail? What's going to foster the, at least if the player base, the customers themselves know about this event, it will bring everyone together and they'll find out about these organizations faster. Other than that,
You came up, you brought up something interesting that I just thought about now, in terms of like trying, like you're talking about how these arcades even know about Zega? How are they going to turn a profit considering all these league things? And in terms of the tournaments, how will this affect the arcades, I guess, and the players by the situation? My question then is, what if I don't want? What if I don't want? What if I just want? No, what if I have a big ass arcade and I really just want to do my own thing and I don't really give a shit about Zega or esports, and I just want to make my own money, do my own business, and have my own tournaments for my own clients because I don't give a shit? What if I'm a player and I've got friends and we want to do tournaments and we don't give a shit? And our tournaments are big because we're fucking good at what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So what, we have no choice anymore? Yeah, what if I've got money and I want to throw it around? What if I want to host $1,000 tournament for fun?
Zega wants in on that money, bro.
Cool. That to me is
Like,
already foul play.
Like for me, right? If it just so happened that like next year, if everything goes well, and I manage to move to Poland, I would have loved to have like my own tournament scene or my own tournament series known as the King's Pot, whereby I provide a certain prize pool, niggas to register, sign up, and they play various. Well, I mainly wanted it to be a fighting game thing, but based on the look of things, right? People are mainly interested in, your soccer and stuff. But like I said, I would have loved to have my own tournament league, so as to give back to the gaming community that built the KRW King 101 name. You know what I mean? But if there are individuals, or if there's an organization like Zega, such a thing would be I would like to believe it would be very costly, and I don't think it would be able to help me or anyone else who ends up taking part in this particular tournament in some shape or form.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like this. Let's pretend Zega takes a certain amount of all monies involved. You maybe have a vision to make sure that your prize pools in all the tournaments give a certain amount to the players. Let's just say you want to distribute, I love this number today, you want to distribute $1,000 across all the different players that you be having these tournaments with, right? From first to third place in all the various tournaments, all players, if you put all the money they'll get together, maybe to be $1,000. But the thing is, right, Zega is taking a cut of every tournament, which would mean for all the players to get $1,000, you can't put just $1,000. You're going to have to put plus whatever commission Zega is going to take. So if in total Zega was going to take $500, you'd then have to make a tournament of $1,500 so that Zega can take their $500, and then you can distribute the $1,000 amongst all your other tournaments.
Yes.
So to me, I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it. And imagine now with every tournament you have to gain approval from Zega individually. With each individual tournament, you are writing letters to them. Please, can I have approval? Please, can I have approval? Please, can I have approval? And if they say no for whatever reason, you have to find out why they said no. And we all know government processes take a long time to resolve. You'll be asking for a question, maybe you'll get the response a month or two later. Because I'm sure there'll be other people also asking questions. They deny your tournament, you now have to do things in a way that they will like, and then when they like it, you apply again, and it's a month in advance, right? So if they say yes, that means your tournament is happening a month later than it was supposed to be. I don't know, that just sounds like shit to me, honestly.
Yeah, now we'll see what's gonna happen, man, because
yeah, well, in all fairness, some of the Harare guys seem to have very high hopes in Zega, so maybe they know shit that we don't know. Yeah.
Maybe it's beneficial.
It's possible. It's possible. But yeah, we'll have to see. I guess December is what's going to show. If no major tournament happens in December, then we all know it was totally bullshit. Like totally. But if the tournament does happen, someone has to speak, because they can't just have a big tournament and say nothing afterwards. I think that would be shooting themselves in the foot. They would have to speak. So I guess in December will be the time people will get to see what's going on. And then from there, maybe we can have some answers to some of these questions. Maybe they might end up sending you to Korea. Who knows? We'll have to see.
It's already too late. If anything, I should have left today, arrived tomorrow. But hey, yeah.
So no, I think for now this can be it. Do you guys have any last words about this?
Nah, I've said my piece, bro.
For anyone who's been listening up until this point, thank you very much. We hope to have more information about this Zega situation. We'll see. My hopes are very low, and I don't expect this to lead to anything, but I could be proven wrong. Maybe. I highly doubt it, but it's possible. We'll have to see. We'll try to distribute this amongst many different places, and we'll see if people are interested in continuing that discussion, and we'll see what the groups have to turn up. If anything big comes up, of course we'll have to talk about it here. But until next time, that was KRW King 101, that was Fiery D2, and it's me, 4 Years Wasted. I guess we'll see you next time on the next Spiral Arrow podcast.